What up, y'all? This is your girl Shaniqua T on the beat, and you are now tuning in to another episode on the Spacious podcast where healing meets transparency and faith meets mental health. And of course, we are continuing our podcast series called Black Woman Healing. And this series is all about encouraging, helping women through their healing journey, through the testimonies of other women that have been through the process, still going through the process, and maintaining through the healing process, because it's all about freedom over here. Okay, we're gonna be free, set free, and deliver. Amen. So if you haven't already, go ahead, click the subscribe button, and make sure you share with a friend, tell an auntie, family member, whoever, and make sure they get this podcast in their ear or on their TV, because we want to see this go out to the masses. We thank you to our supporters in advance. So yeah, all that. Now that we got all the housekeeping rules out the way, let's keep this thing going. So today, on today's episode, all right, we got a woman up here. She gonna bring that fire. She gonna give it to you how you need it. She goes by Coach LaToya Kight, aka Toya for short. She is your relationship coach. She is the one that is helping women that are moms, women that even are entrepreneurs, young women, single women. She helping all of us get revived and filled up with Jesus, so we can be able to walk out this thing called wholeness, walk out this thing called freedom, and all that jazz. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring her on. And y'all, we always keep it real on here. So be ready to get your edges snatched back, all that. Cause even I'm prepared to get my edges snatched back. Cause we just don't know what's gonna happen and what God gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring her up right now. Everybody say, hey, Toya. We're so excited, so happy that you are here today. So excited for you to be here.
Having me.
No problem. It's always, it's, when things line up, they line up. So I'm gonna go ahead, make whenever I get the green light from God, I'm gonna be like, all right, let's do this. So we here. Truly thankful for you to be here. So go ahead, introduce yourselves to the people. Let the people know who you are and what you do.
All right. As she said, I am Coach LaToya Kight, Toya K for short. I am a relationship coach. I am an author. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a speaker. I am all the things. Okay. And yes, I help mothers, wives, singles, married, whoever. I'm here for you. I'm here for women. God has called me to women. I know a lot of women say that, and just because I'm a woman, I didn't want that call because I'm a woman, but
Yeah.
because of the things that I've been through and because of the things I've seen, I wanted to help other women, and God put that passion in me. So that's what my life goal is, to help women achieve wholeness, help women get to healing, help women overcome a lot of things that a lot of us had to endure. So yeah, I do all of the things. I have my own podcast as well. I have my own organization, The Complete Woman. And I also have my life coaching business, The Architect's Table, and a lot of the other things I'm doing we'll probably get into later or whatever. But that's pretty much who I am.
Yeah, so y'all stay tuned, because I'm pretty sure she gonna provide y'all some insights on some things she has coming up. Super excited about that. So we gonna go ahead and get into this thing now. If it's your first time tuning in, with each and every episode of this series, we allow our guests to self-entitle their own episode, because it's all about them giving their testimony about their healing journey. And so for Toya's entitled episode is called Journey to Wholeness. Ooh, so beautiful and angelic when I just hear it through my ears. It's just like I can just see like the people with the,
Oh
I'm
my
stop.
God.
I'm stop cutting up. I play too much. So let's get right into it. Now, because we know this journey to wholeness is something serious. Okay, it's not nothing to play with at all. So before this, there's always a journey before we actually get to a journey of wholeness. So who was Toya before the journey to wholeness started? I'm coming. That was the question. I'm
Woo, child.
gonna give you business a little bit.
Uh, I would tell you, first off, for sure, she is nothing like the woman you see before you today. Nothing at all. The confidence I have, the boldness I have, the drive that I have, all the passion that I have, none of that was there. That what you see now, like me being open and talking to people about things and speaking and all those things, never wanted to do those things, never thought of doing those things, never thought of helping other people because I needed help. I was
Mhm.
that woman that, I was bullied as a little girl, and growing up, even in my mid 20s, I was still bullied. I was mentally and verbally and emotionally abused in my first marriage. And it was a lot of stuff. Even growing up, I grew up without my birth dad, and I went through some stuff with my stepdad. And it's like, a lot of things that caused me to say, I want to be better as a person in relationships, and I
Mm,
want to have better relationships. So
mm,
I started to change my mind. Instead of me pointing the finger at everybody else, like, you are the problem. You're
yes,
the reason why this didn't work. You're the reason why this is happening. I can blame you. I don't take any fault in the situation. You did this to me, and pointing it at you. And I changed that and pointed at myself. And what
yeah.
they say, you point at someone, you got three fingers pointed back at you, or whatever, how it go. And that's
Mhm.
what I did. I started looking within myself, and I started saying, hey, what do you want from your life? And at the time, I had four young children.
Yeah.
So what do you want for your life? How do you want your life to look? How do you want your relationships to look? How do you want your children to see you?
Mm,
So I changed the way that I operated, so
yeah.
that now when I'm in relationships, now the relationship can operate differently because of how I operate. So I had to take hold of what I wanted and change my thinking about me. I had
Mm,
to change my thinking about myself. I had to get rid of the low self-esteem, the
yeah.
low confidence, all of those things, looking at myself as if I wasn't worthy, as if I couldn't do it, as if I didn't have it in me. I had to drive those thoughts away so that I could get to the point where now I'm worthy enough to have wholeness and
Yeah.
healthiness in my life, whether it's in relationships, whether it's within myself, whether it's with my children, whether it's with my family, whoever, wherever. I wanted to make sure that I showed up different in the world.
Yes.
I wanted to change the narrative that a lot of Black women have of that angry Black woman syndrome. Like, I wanted to change that narrative. So
Yeah.
I started to respond to things differently. So, even though I may feel like I have the right to have this response, how would
Mhm.
that show up when someone looks at me?
That's
A
good.
lot of people are not going to say, "Oh, she had the right to act like that," or she could do whatever because they were treating her a certain way. Everybody's not going to see it that way. So, how
Not
do
at
I want to show up?
all.
Do I want to be seen? What do I want the conversations to be had when people leave my presence?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make a decision, and I had to be adamant about how
Yes.
I changed the way that I interacted with people.
Yes.
Starting with myself, starting with my family. I had to have the hard conversations,
Oh,
the hard reflection.
yes.
I had to own up to some stuff. I had to do a lot of apologizing and a lot of forgiving. So,
Yes. Oh, talk about
so
it.
that girl, if you ask anyone that knew me, if you see me now, that girl that I was in my mid 20s and younger is not at all who I am now. And it's not someone that who I am now, I would have ever thought in my mid 20s and younger that I would be now. I
Mm,
never saw this person,
yes.
never saw this, never even prayed for this person, because I was like, God, I don't even see that. I don't see a lot of that
Mm,
representation in my family or my community.
yeah.
So how am I going to be that when I don't even see a lot of it myself? So how is it even possible? How is it
Mm,
attainable? Am I dreaming? Am I fooling myself to think that I could have that? But I
Right.
made a decision again. I made a decision and I started with me and I started
Yes.
working on myself to make myself better.
Yes, and that's such a key thing. So many things to take away from that, but it started with a decision. So it starts with like, what decision are you going to make? Are
Right,
you going to are you going to continue to navigate through these same cycles and seeing yourself in the same light that you always seen yourself, or are you going to make a decision to take a different route? And a lot of times it's a simple response, but it's not an easy action at the
right,
same time,
right,
because it's like when you say yes. I know how many it's so many times I done said yes, God. I'm a I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it, and then it's like next thing you know, you find yourself back in the same place, and
yeah,
it gets to that point where it's just like I'm tired.
yeah,
I'm truly tired of seeing myself in this same place over and over again. So it's like
yeah,
when you say yes, it's like you gotta really mean it. You gotta really mean it, because when you say yes, you it's gonna put you in a position of finally seeing yourself of how you
mhm,
see yourself, not how
mhm,
other people have seen you,
right,
but how you see yourself.
right,
Now, a lot of what people said, that residue can like bleed on you, and you can take in those comments and see yourself in that way. But it's about how you see yourself. I know
yeah,
I was asked this question where it's like, Shaniqua, how do you see yourself? I couldn't even answer the question, because it came from a place of being ashamed of even what I thought about myself.
yeah,
And it's so easy to even fall in the place of like thinking of yourself less than, when it's like that's like the same record that's been played for
yeah,
so long. But you have to be honest with like, hey, this is how I feel about myself. And it's like, I don't even know how to change it, because when you are in spaces where you talked about how, well, I never seen anybody do this before, so how do I even change that? So my question to you is, what did that journey look like, to go through the process of doing something you never seen before, like going through the process?
it took a lot of courage and it took a lot of side eye from other people and naysayers and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I had to do a lot of belief in God that He said He can do exceedingly and above all what we ever ask or think.
Mm-hmm.
So if God said that this can happen, you cannot believe it all day because you've never seen it. But
Yeah.
I believe that this could change. I believe that it can happen because even if I haven't seen a whole group of people do it, I've seen it somewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
somewhere down the line, it gave me hope that it could happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to push through a lot of negative talk, and that's why I am somebody. If you ever have a conversation with me and you say something negative, I'll rebuke it real quick.
Oh
I
yeah.
bind that in the name of Jesus because I believe that whatever you put out there is what you're gonna get.
Right.
I am somebody. I don't sit on that negative talk. I don't let you talk say certain things that can cause your life to turn into that kind of pattern or whatever. So I am very intentional about what I say out of my mouth. I am very intentional about what I believe. I am very intentional about who I connect to and
Yeah.
what I connect to. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very intentional about that. So I changed a lot of things. I changed what I was listening to. I changed how I operated. I changed, where I would go. Like back in the day, I was at the club every weekend. I
Hey.
was drinking all the time. And I changed that dynamic because again, I can't keep going into those places and doing those things and expecting different results.
Right.
So I started to put into myself different things. So I listen to different things. I go to different places or whatever so that I can now get that into my spirit. So now that what is in me, they say what is in you comes out of you. So
Mm-hmm.
now, because now I am putting different material into my ears and I'm looking at different things, that's what's coming out of me now. Even though I may only see this in the natural, certain people in my community or my family doing
Yeah.
certain things, I have to have the boldness and the courage to be different. I
Mm-hmm.
told God I want different because what I am seeing happening to those before me, it's not working for them.
Mm.
It's not working for them, or their life doesn't look like how I want my life to look. So what
Mm-hmm.
path do I need to take for my life to look differently than what I've seen? So I
Yeah.
had to do a lot of different things from what I've seen. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to take that initiative and be the one in my family that is more emotional than most people, one
Yeah.
that's more loving than most people, one that's more physical, has physical touch and all that kind of stuff that you may not see in my family. But I'm going to always love on you when I see you. Or you may not do it or like it, but that's what's in me to do. I had to embrace that. I am a little sensitive. I am made way more
Mm-hmm.
than everybody else. That's okay. That's okay. I see things a little different. That's okay. And then when I started to take those steps, I started seeing how everyone around me started to change as well,
Yeah.
because they were seeing how more at ease my life was because of the way that I decided to live and the things that I decided to do and how I decided to operate. I have no there's no kind of negotiation or anything about my relationship with God. I'm
Yes.
going to always put him first. And
Hey.
I don't care what anybody say. Y'all can say I be at the church too much. Y'all can say I do
Hey,
this.
that's all right.
You can say it don't take all that. You can say all you want to, but it's working for me.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't feel like that work for you, I have nothing to do with that. It works for me
Uh-huh.
and I love it. I've been a church girl my whole life. So not being in church when COVID hit, that was an adjustment because that's my life. I've been in church all my life. So, God is not a question. And even in my relationships, even before I met my second husband, when we started dating and stuff like that, I made known, hey, this is a priority for me.
Right.
So if you ain't for that kind of ride, we good. I, I mean, as much as I want to be in a relationship, as much as I want to be loved, I can do without it if that means that I get to keep God.
Yes.
So no matter who comes in my life, no matter who comes around, people always say they can say again, say what they want to say about whatever I do or whatever I say. But at the end of the day, I choose God. I
Yes.
choose his way. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So
Yes, it
all day
is.
I can sit here trying to please you and prove to you something, or I could just follow God and now follow his lead. And I told God, direct my path. Which way you want me to go, what you want me to do, so that my
Mm-hmm.
life can be where I want it to be. So
Yes.
it took a lot of fighting and crying. It was not easy. Crying, fighting, mad, want to give up, all that. Telling God,
Yes.
hey, you can have all this back because I'm over it.
Right. You can take it. Here you
You
go.
can have it. You can have it all day. And the thing that also really, really helped me was my children, because
Mm.
I wanted my children to see differently. I wanted them to look at me as the example of the woman to be, and for my son, the woman he wants to be with. That's
Yes.
what I wanted as an example for
Yes.
my children. I don't care what nobody else is doing. I want y'all to see that it's possible for you to live a happy, healthy, and whole life.
Yes, yes, that's big. And it's just so vital, and it goes back to that once again, that process of understanding like what is going to be your decision at the end of the day, because you really have to want this all that comes with this
Mhm.
process, because it's gonna come with you dying to self daily, dying to the things that you used to do. It's to the point where it comes a foreign language to you, because you're gonna
Yeah.
be like, well, how sway, like, yeah, how did I even used to do this? Like, this is really filthy. And I think even down to like the different things that you talked about, like the environments that you was in, being intentional about what you say out your mouth, in being in tune like with your senses, because people
Mhm.
don't talk about this often, but it's like your spiritual senses, those are very important, with your natural senses, like what you
Mhm.
put into your ears, like what is it that you are rotating in your mind on a daily basis. And for me personally, I'm a person, I love music. I love music. One thing about it, I've been like that since I was a kid because I felt like music, it was a way to express myself when I didn't know how to, because I didn't talk to people. I was silent. I didn't talk to people that wasn't I didn't feel I could trust or I could be close to. So I would utilize music to really express how I felt. But at some point I had to start being intentional about the music that I listen to, because I'm a like a 90s R&B. I loved R&B with a passion, and you could tell me I wasn't born in the 80s because I knew all the songs. But I had to start realizing how much music was such a big influence of how I saw myself.
Yeah.
Because I used to sit there and just listen to all these love songs, how who done broke up with who, Miss Parker down the street cheating on somebody else, and I'm singing the song like, hey, this is me. And I started to be, in some way, form, or fashion, my actions started to be like that. Be
Yeah.
broken hearted all the time. And when you're just listening to those type of songs all the time, you start to become that thing. You start
Yeah.
to become a broken
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I knew God, and this is only a couple of months ago when I really start taking into consideration of what kind of music that I listen to. And
Mhm.
once I did, I found myself, I was going through a situation, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go try to go listen. I tried to go back to listening to those R&B songs, and I was just like, oh, skip. I can't relate to this. Skip. Like, why
Yeah.
am I even trying to listen to this? I'm like, child, let me put my little my other music on, and
Yeah.
then we just go praise and worship through this. So I knew that God had changed my appetite on what I listened to, changed my appetite on things I used to do, it didn't work anymore. So
Yeah.
you have to start testing yourself even that way, and start looking at yourself in a way of just like, well, what is it about me that I have been rejecting because other people rejected about?
Mm.
When you was talking, that's immediately a
Yeah.
question that I thought about, because
Yeah.
the things that other people reject and you begin to reject those things for yourself, those are the things that actually make you who God has called you to be.
Yeah.
If you see other people saying that you too, because I used to say that about myself because of other people, what they say, you're too emotional.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I'm too emotional, so I ain't gonna act like I ain't got no
Yeah.
emotions. Heart
Yeah.
start being hard. You're hard
Yeah.
all the time, acting like you ain't crying about 2-3 months. I'm
I
for
feel
real.
you. I feel you though. No,
I'm
I
for
feel you, but
real.
that didn't work for me though. And that's how I knew that's who I was for real, because even when I would tell God, I was like, can you just please not make me so sensitive? Can I please
Right.
like I
Yeah.
would ask him that on a regular basis because the people around me, they didn't cry as much as me. They didn't react to the things the same way I did. And I was like, it gotta be something wrong with me then. But come to find out that a lot of this stuff is a trauma response.
Mm,
People have their walls up because of trauma. People are not vulnerable because of trauma.
mm-hmm.
They are not trustworthy and they're not vulnerable. And I've just got to the point where I'm just like, hey, you're gonna take these tears, you're gonna take this response, you're gonna let me, like, I have even had, because me and my husband are polar opposites. Like, he's like almost non-emotional about stuff. Okay, so I really like legit has, hey sir, let me have what I'm
You
gonna
have
have.
my time,
let
okay?
me let me do it. If you don't let me get this out, it's not gonna be good. I gotta cry it out. And I've noticed that because I allow those feelings to overtake me, I'm able to, get through a lot of things a little faster and easier than most.
Mm-hmm.
So he's even said, because in the last few months alone, I have like been back to back to funerals because I've been burying people close to me. And he
Yeah.
was like, I just admire the way that you're grieving and you're handling this thing. He was like, you really let your emotions take over and do what you need to do and get through it. Yeah, because if I sit there and try to bottle it up, ain't nobody going. nobody's gonna make it. Okay, I
Yeah.
am gonna be trying to wonder if I still know Jesus,
Yeah.
because I have that stuff bottled up, and I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm gonna be mad because I got this stuff all bottled up. So every look, I mean everything. I was like, okay, I guess it's just who I am, guys. So I got to embrace it. So if I have an emotional moment, that's my real, true feelings. Like I would cry for real.
Yes. Yes.
Be
Yes.
like, this is stupid, but hey, it is what it is. So I
It
just
is what it
embrace it.
is.
It's who I am, and I look different from a lot of people, even in my own family. Like I am the one that cries the most in my family, my whole entire family. Like I'm the one that cries the most. And I'm just like, hey, that's just who I am. I can't change who I am. That's who I am.
Yes, yes, yes. You gotta allow yourself to have that moment because it's such a beautiful thing to me. Like I was watching it was like a clip of the BET Awards. I ain't watched it because they had a lot going on. But anyway, it was a Busta Rhymes. He got
Yes, I
he
saw
got the
that
Lifetime
clip.
Achievement Award, and
Mhm.
in his speech, it was like he was trying to hold it back. He was trying to hold. Now, at one point, I thought I was like, okay, is he just trying to get all the applause right now? But then I realized, like, no, he trying to hold back his emotions, and then he just had this breakthrough moment where he was just, you know what? I'm gonna let these tears flow. I'm gonna let these, and that was such a powerful moment to me, even for like just a man, a
Yeah,
black man at
a
that,
man's man.
a
Like,
man's man, like that is a
yeah,
man.
yeah. Buster ain't from, if you know Buster from back in the day to now, like Buster is like, when he was talking in his speech, I was on the corner, I was doing all that stuff. Like that's Buster for real. So when he had that moment, I had the same response. I was like, that is amazing that you got up here and you did that. Do you not understand how you helped a lot of those guys that saw that? You helped
Yeah,
a lot of guys that saw that. A lot of them, like he said in his speech, we think we got to be hard. We think we got to be beefing. We got to do all that. No, you don't. It's okay to like
hmm,
your fellow rapper, your fellow man. It's okay to like them. It's okay to be cool. He's like, yeah, I collab with people. It's okay to collab with people and not have a beef. It's okay. But that's the way the world has made it for us, especially in the black community.
yeah,
If we're not against each other, and that's what he said. He was like, yeah, we got to show them something different because
yes,
we can be that. So when he let that out, honey, I said, yes, but that's right, Buster. You ain't listen. A lot of them, if that they were in your shoes, they would probably cry too.
right,
Just to understand. So
yeah.
please understand, you have freed a lot of people from having that moment. Like
Mhm.
that was a great moment.
Yeah, that was beautiful because
Yeah.
it was a lot of young people that was in
Mhm. Yeah.
that audience. So it was
Yeah.
like to me that was such a monumental moment
Absolutely.
that was witnessed amongst everybody. So thank you,
Mhm.
Buster, for allowing yourself to be
And congratulations,
transparent,
because you are a
expressing
legend.
yourself, all that good stuff. We
Definitely a
appreciate you.
legend. Definitely a legend.
So I got this, I'm gonna ask this question. So let's get back to that emotional piece, allowing yourself to embrace that emotion. So how do you allow yourself to find the balance with having allowing yourself to express yourself but also having that self-control at the same time? Because a lot of you have some people that they feel like they got to hold back their emotions because they're afraid of how their emotions are going to come out or what they're going to do. You have those type of people that those emotions may turn into anger and they may turn into rage and they might end up doing something they don't want to go to jail for. So how do you go through that process of embracing it but also having self-control at the same time?
One thing I always do, I try to think before I respond.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing about me, I never want to come back and have to apologize for something that I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say, okay, you might want to chill out for a minute because you might have to come back and eat all these words that you about to say. And and or you're gonna look stupid. And one thing I don't like to look is stupid. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't like for anybody looking at me like, I can't believe she acted like that. I can't believe she did that. And with saying that, because of who I am and my brand and who everybody has seen me be, for me to have a response that goes against that, there are a lot, like we were just talking about Buster. If I have a
Mhm.
bad response, there are a lot of people watching me. There are a lot of people that know me. So in that moment, I have a response like that, and that deters my whole life and everything that anybody sees about me. Because as we know in this world, the negative outlasts the positive for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they see you in a moment, and now that gives them reason or pause to say, if she acts like that, why the heck am I gonna act any other way? If she's capable of that, after all she be talking and who she is and who I have seen her be, and she has that
Mhm.
response. And yeah, we can say we human all day, but everybody don't go for that. Everybody
Mm-mm.
don't go for that.
Not at all.
And on top of that, again, my children, because I want my children to understand how to handle situations,
Mhm.
because everything may not turn out how you want it to turn out. So you're thinking you're going to, because I can only control me.
Yes.
So I'm going to have a response the way that I'm going to have the response. Who's to say how you respond to me won't be worse than how I responded to you? So now we're in a situation where we're in a fight, somebody getting hurt, somebody going to jail, or something
Yeah.
negative, that if I would have controlled my response, it would have never got there. So a lot of times, if I go through some things, you'll see me probably say it on Facebook or something like that, and I'll say I had to take a moment to myself before I even came on social media or anything, because I didn't want to bleed my emotions onto everybody else.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I have my time to myself. I may not answer the phone, I may not return text or whatever, but I take time to myself to recollect myself and say, "Hey, is it that serious?" Number one, is it that serious?
Yeah.
Does it change your life in any kind of way? Does it affect your money? Does it affect your marriage? Does it affect your children? Like, these are the things. Like, if it
Yes.
doesn't affect those things, I'm like, girl, okay, we can calm down.
Right. We can break that
We
down.
can break it back, because this really, honestly, it don't affect those things. So if it doesn't affect those things, why am I allowing it to get in my spirit so that I respond a certain way? Why?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm checking myself. Why does that make you respond like that? Why do you feel like that? From
Yes.
what somebody did or said, why did that cause that response? Oh, I need to check myself. I need to figure out why I'm so affected. Why am I so offended? Why am I so hurt? I need to check myself, because regardless of what, it shouldn't get that deep for me. If again, you are not these people, you're not my husband, you're not God, you're not my children, you're not my, like, why am I letting you affect me like that? So what
Yes.
kind of power am I giving you? And because one thing about me, I don't know about nobody else, I don't like to give people power over me. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
never want nobody to say, "Oh yeah, I caused her to act like that. Oh, because of this, she did this." Oh no, 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 you won't ever be able to say that about me.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
have to check myself and be like, okay, they may think they one up you or whatever, but let them have that,
Let them
because
have it.
because
Trying
it's
to tell
that
you,
serious.
it
And
is not
we
deep.
going back and forth to do what? Because my thing is, and this is my other thing, me being mad at you or me going off on you, is that gonna make you change your behavior? One thing I learned about people, people do what they want to do, regardless of what you do. I say people do what they want to do. So I'm getting mad and want to fight and all kind of stuff for what? For you to keep doing what you already did?
Yep. You just
And now I look silly. So
yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
don't.
We're not doing that.
No, I can't let you affect me like that when you are not. No, I can't make you that important to affect me like that.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
so big. And let me just say, for those that are listening and watching, unforgiveness is giving the person the upper hand. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me just put that out there.
Absolutely.
I just want y'all to know that. So while you still mad at little Billy from the 5th grade, I just want you to know.
Let it go. I literally just had that conversation with some people. I was like, listen, at some point in life, we have to choose to let some things go. It isn't about, oh, they getting over on me or nothing like that. It's about, do I want to harbor and carry that?
Yes.
Because now it affects your response in your relationship with everybody else.
Yes.
And do I want to look at my husband and still carry the stuff that I had about my first husband? Do I want to look at my children and still carry the stuff that I had about how I was treated as a child? Do I want to look at my parents and carry the stuff that I had from? Do I want that to continue to affect my relationships? No. So if you want life to be easier, forgive them. You may not ever get that apology. You may not ever get that conversation you want. You may not ever get the response that you feel you need. Let it go. It's
Let it go.
not that important. I promise you. All it is a chapter in your book. Use it as a testimony. That's the other thing I do. I turn everything into a testimony. I turn everything into a lesson. In that moment, God, what are you trying to show me?
Yes.
What are you trying to teach me so that I don't have to be presented with this moment again?
Yes. Yes.
Because
That's
if you don't, it's going to keep presenting itself if you never learn. It's going to keep showing up. So I don't want to keep going through this guide. So how we wrap this thing up?
right.
How
We're
we
gonna
wrap
wrap
this
this up
up?
right now. Wrap this up right
This
now.
thing on up, okay? Because I don't want to see this again. I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to feel like that again. So what I need to do? Check
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. That's what it goes back to. It goes back to self. Once
Yeah.
again, you have to be in a position to check in yourself. Even when, as a Coach Toya, as she was talking about, like being able to take a step back and be like, hey, is this really beneficial to where I'm going? Like, is this beneficial to my relationship, my situation, even my relationship with myself? Is it beneficial? You have to take a step back and not react in such an impulsive way, because that's the issue. Impulsivity is a learned
Yeah.
behavior from when we were kids. We
Yeah.
learn, like I work with kids on a daily basis, and a lot of them, their issues is they have issues with impulsivity, and their parent don't know how to help them because they haven't gotten in control in themselves. So
Exactly.
it starts there. And
Exactly.
it takes, as much as we want to just forget about things and move on, you have to revisit those areas of your life so
Yes.
you can address it. Take the
Yes.
band-aid off. The band-aid is old, okay?
You got to take the band-aid, take
The
the
band-aid
cast
old.
off, take whatever you got to take it off, because if you don't work through it, again, it's gonna keep showing up and it's gonna keep holding you down. And I don't want to be handcuffed to anything. So I need to do the hard, nasty, it's a nasty word.
It's
It's
nasty.
nasty. It's real dirty. It gets very ghetto. It's real, it's
The
like,
ghetto.
it's
It's the
like, okay,
ghetto.
nah, okay, God, we could just not do this. Okay, like it could definitely get like that. Like even with my relationships with people around me, especially my family, we have had to do the hard conversations. We have had to get mad at each other. We have had to go off on each other. We have had to say, hey, I'm about to write you out. We good. I don't even have to have you in my life, to then come back and say, okay, how can I do better so this relationship can be better? You got to do the tough work. You got
Yeah.
to do it. It's no way around it if you want to be better. It's no way around
Yes.
it.
It's nowhere around it
Mm-mm.
whatsoever. So you have to be able to address the childlike self. You got to. Because let me be real. Who the Holy Spirit, you didn't have to do that. But let me be real. A lot of people are in grown folk bodies, but they are still a child.
A child,
It's still a child.
a whole child, never grew up.
Never grew up.
You
Because
right.
if you still reacting the way you was when you was a kid, if you still having the same thoughts that you was
That
having
part.
when you was a child, if
That
you
part.
still moving even around the same group of people that are stuck in them same ways when they was a child, all y'all children, y'all walking children,
Yes, children. Children.
children with responsibilities.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it. I hear adults and then you still a child. And that's what they say. Age doesn't make you wiser. Like you gotta understand that there's some things that you got to really face yourself and say, I need to do better. That's not okay. And that whole this is just who I am thing, you got
Oh,
to
that
let
gotta
that go.
go.
You gotta let that
That
go.
gotta go.
You
That's
gotta let
band-aid number one. That
that
gotta go.
that got to go. Because like I stated the first time, the person that I am today is nothing like who I was back then. So I could keep still saying that 20-something-year-old, that teenager, she is who she is, and I could still be saying that in my 40s. Like what?
Like,
Like
what?
what?
I am who I am.
So
Can't
nothing
nobody
about you
change me.
changed? Right. So you don't want to change. Let's start there.
That's
So
what
why
that
that
is.
somebody wants to change you, you don't want to change. Because honestly, if it's supposed to change and you allow it to change, it will change. If it's something that's in you, it won't change. Your essence won't change because who God created you to be, that's who He created you to be. But if you're holding on to those negative things that you say is, I am who I am, and ma'am, sir, that's not getting you into the doors that you want to get into. It's not getting you the connections that you want to get to. It's not getting you the kind of money that you're trying to get. It's not getting you there because you're so holding on to that. And if anybody ever presents any kind of thing different to you, you looking at them crazy.
Yes,
But
yes,
you say you want to be better, but you say you want to grow, but you say you want more. Okay. God doesn't trust stuff to people who act like that.
yeah,
God doesn't trust His best to people who don't want to be the best. He don't
yes,
trust that to you. So you can
yes.
keep going to Him saying you want this and that, but we can say all day, I want the man or the woman. God ain't trusting you with His people.
Right. He ain't gonna give you.
He ain't giving you that. Oh, I want the child. God not giving you that.
Cause what you gonna do? You gonna destroy that thing to the T, and that's something that I had to even come to grips with my in my own life. Now I had stopped saying that I am who I am type deal, like
Mhm.
and can't nobody change. I had stopped saying those words, but it's like you can stop saying those words too, but your actions
But
can
your
still
act.
live up to that same thing.
Yep.
Because I had an issue where it's like I was afraid of if I change, I know things around me are going to change too.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was afraid of that because
Yeah.
I'm such a big person on
Yeah.
like relationships
Yeah.
and keeping people close.
Yeah.
So I knew that if I changed, the
Yeah.
relationships around me were
Yeah.
going to change too. And it was
Yeah.
like, man, I wasn't having that. And
Yeah.
God was like, girl, if you don't let that go,
If you
that's
don't
the
let
very
that
thing that is
go,
holding you back from your
yes,
freedom that you crying and weeping about all the time. You gotta be able to just like, hey, well, hey, I'm gonna just take hands off. Go ahead, rip the
you got
band-aid off.
that's it. You gotta get there. You gotta get,
Gotta
we
get
always
there.
be saying God you in control, but is He really? Is He
Is he
really? Let
really?
me lay my burdens on. Are you really laying your burdens down? Like you really got to when you let God take control, like you were saying, when it comes to relationship, I was that person too, and still God's still working on me on that because
We
I
still
am a big,
massaging it.
I'm a big relationship person, and I can't in my mind fathom some people not being in my life like they were. So I be trying to hold on, but then God said to me, "You hold on to something that should have been dead." That and then that's your fault that you keep getting hurt by it.
Right.
Because they were supposed to have been gone. It was
Supposed to
supposed to
be
be
go.
in, but you keep holding on because you so desperate to have these people in your life. And I was like, well, so God, you trying to tell me I'm thirsty? Yeah,
And that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
yes, you are, and you need to stop because
Right.
me not letting go of certain people is not allowing space for the people that belong there. So then it's not allowing space for those people to belong there. So now I'm not getting to the level I'm supposed to be at because I'm holding these people. And what they say, the higher you go up, things fall off. But you can't even go up and let the things fall off because you holding on so tight to them. So you
Yeah.
keep staying at this level when you're supposed to be here. but you keep being here because you won't let them go. And then the thing that I learned about people, again, people gonna do what they want to do.
Yep.
They'll leave your behind. They will leave your behind real quick.
Real quick. And you be
Real
like,
quick.
well, huh? Well, then God be like, well, child, I tried to tell
I
you.
tried to tell you, so now you got to break your heart and
Had
have these people leave you because you won't leave when I told you to. I told you to leave a long time ago, but because you didn't do it, okay, let's do it the hard way. God to try to let you do it the easy way first, but you don't want to listen. Okay, let's do it the hard way.
because the easy
I guess
way, the hard way.
just like we tell children. I guess I done talked to you, and I done told you. I said, clean up this room, clean up this room, clean up this room. You don't want to clean it? Okay. Now, when I start taking stuff from you, now you feel it. Now the sting is there. Oh no, let me hurry up and get my act together. No.
No. Stay right there. Stay right there.
No,
Keep that same energy.
keep that same energy that you had before. So I had to learn. I told God, I said, God, it's some people and things that I don't see myself being without. But if you got to take it and to do what you got to do in my life, prepare me and help me. Those are the prayers too that help me not have certain responses to stuff, because I told God beforehand, help me, prepare me. You know your child, you know how I am, so prepare me for this because it's going to hurt. And that's something that we don't admit either when we say, oh, we had to let them go, we couldn't be in relationship with them no more. But are we talking about that junk hurt for real?
It hurt.
It hurt. Even though we know it's the best for us, that still hurt. That's somebody I built a relationship with. That's somebody I had a connection with. And you telling me I got to let them go? Like that hurts. And so I admit that hurts. So help me through the hurt. Help me to get through that. Help me to process this and help me not to go back.
Yeah. Ooh, come on. Yeah, that's it. Because I don't circle back a couple times. When you circle back.
Me not to go back. Help me not to look for any excuse to go back. Help me not to give me the will when I feel like I got to go back to not go back. Help me with that.
Now that's a prayer right there. Let me put that on my prayer list because a lot of times, like, that's a real thing. Like, you can easily find yourself like, okay, I done got out the situation, still getting through the hurt residue, but I'm a little better now. But then as soon as, that's why you got to stay on guard. You cannot get off guard, especially when it comes to the enemy, because when you think it's all cute and safe, he gonna find a way to get back in there. All you need is your permission.
Yeah.
You give him permission, but that thing gonna hit 10 times as hard, and you gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, why am I back here again?" Crying, weeping, be like the old Israelites. I'm trying to tell y'all, don't be like them.
Yeah.
Be like them.
You got to, man. You got to pray that. You have to know yourself. You have to know where you're weak at and where you're strong. And I know that all it would take for me is to just, it don't really take a whole lot.
Yeah, it don't take much.
Like, it don't take a whole lot. I ain't gonna all it gonna take. It take me some time. All it takes is me some time, and then you will probably do something that speaks to me, and then I'll let you back in. And then it's like, and then what we have to understand too, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person.
Right. Not at all.
It doesn't mean that anything bad had to happen.
Right.
It's just that they cannot be in your life at the magnitude that they were anymore. So you have to understand that and be okay with that. Yeah. You have to be okay with that. And even when you want to let them back in, you got to talk. I have talked myself out a lot of times. I have to be like, no, Toya, because remember what happened. The last time you let them back in, and then this happened again. So remember that. Do you want to feel that again? No, I don't want to feel that again. Okay.
I'm good over here.
Do you want to go through that again?
Not at all. Okay. Not at all.
Okay.
It's peaceful over here. I'll take that for 5 minutes.
Listen. It's peaceful over here. I don't have them issues. That's what I tell people. I said, listen, let me tell you something. If I don't argue with my husband like that, you think I'm going to be out here arguing with you and going back and forth with you and being upset with you? No. For what? No, he don't stress me out like that. I'm going to let you stress me out like that? No. What I look Right. Again, I'm giving my power to you. I'm giving you that power to have that kind of effect in my life. And you should not have that much power.
Yes, should not. So
No.
y'all don't be circling back out here now.
Mm-mm. As bad as you want
Don't let them
to.
stay there. Let them
As
stay
good as
there.
you look, don't go back.
Don't go back. Don't go back. Guys, go forward. We don't go backwards. We go forward. All right.
Mm-mm.
Y'all good out there. All right. Have y'all still got your edges? All right. So I also want to ask this question because I know you're a mom and everything like that. And I know I have some mothers out there that are watching and they may be going through their healing process. So what are some key takeaways that you can give to those that are mothers or they just have multiple roles? Maybe they're a wife, maybe they're a mother, or just a entrepreneur. Even like, what are some things, some takeaways you would give to them when it comes to their journey to wholeness and healing?
Well, first of all, choose you. And I mean that when it comes to your kids to choose you. I know we feel like we got to be all things to our children, our spouses, or whatever. We feel like we have to be all things. But if you're coming with the empty or low cup,
Mm.
nobody's going to be okay. So choose you, point blank, period. So make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to always be at this capacity where every little thing they do doesn't drain you. Because kids are needy. Spouses can be needy too. Your business is needy. So you have to take time out for yourself and you say, hey, I just need time. I just need a moment. I just need space. I had told my children, I used to tell my children, even now, my children are like grown and stuff. And my youngest daughter stays with us or whatever. And I even tell her, when I get off of work, give me at least an hour before you come to me with anything, any conversation, because I need to decompress from the day before
Yeah.
I deal with anything else. And I allowed myself to know that that was okay to do because we feel like we should always be on for our children. And you don't have to always be on, and you have to teach your children to understand those kinds of things. Because even when they were little, hey, listen, I'm having me time. Go your tail in the room or something, and let me have my time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna drop what I'm doing because you having a moment or you need something. I taught them how to do certain things when they were old enough so they could be self-sufficient. So you don't
Yeah.
always have to depend on me because especially now, even with them being grown, I definitely, after getting sick, and for those that don't know, I had cervical cancer in 2020, 2021. I wanted to make sure that my children understood if something happens to mom, how are you going to operate in life?
Mm. Yeah.
So if I'm not here, how would you handle that situation? Teach your children that at a young age. If I'm not here, how would you handle that? Teach your spouse that. If
Yeah.
I'm not here, how would you handle that? Teach your business, your employees or whoever. If I am not here, how would you handle that? So that the ball is never dropped.
Yeah.
And utilize your village. One thing about it, even when I was a single mom, my village, even to this day, I called my kids called me, hey, did you call your auntie? Did you call your uncle? Did you call whoever? And see if they'll help you. So everything won't weigh on me. Because again, we feel like we have to do all the things.
Yes.
If you don't have a business partner, have people that you can delegate things to. When it comes to your spouse, talk to your spouse about the things that you need so they can step in and help. It's about communication. It's about opening your mouth. It's about understanding that people around you are there to help. And if they're not, what they there for? what is their purpose of being in your
What's
life?
the purpose?
If they're not here to help, what are you here for? Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely I say it to parents a lot and they be like, I can't believe you said that. Okay. I tell them, hey, those children came into your world, you didn't come into theirs. So get them adjusted to how your world is instead of you adjusting your whole world to them.
Mm.
That doesn't mean negate your kids. That doesn't mean neglect your kids.
Right.
What it means is they have to understand that yes, mama, daddy gonna be there for them or whatever. But at the end of the day, this world is not gonna treat you how I would treat you.
Yeah.
So you gotta understand if you out here in this world, how to conduct yourself, how to live your life without you having to get without you getting in trouble and without you having issues.
Yeah.
You got to understand that. A lot of us were not equipped with that.
No.
When we were 18, graduated high school, hey, what you doing? You finna get you a job, get you a place, da 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 da. What you finna do with yourself? And looking like, wait, I don't even know because you've been taking care of me.
Right. You tell me that. Like, what
So
you
now I
mean?
gotta go out here all, I don't know what to do. So teach your kids how to be self-sufficient. Teach your kids how to stand up in this world. Be positive. Teach them positive reinforcement so
Yes.
they'll stay out of trouble.
Yes.
Teach them conflict resolution.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they
Yes.
can know, like my children have, my son has, because my son, them boys, they different. But my daughters have not been in fights because I taught them conflict resolution. You don't have to fight people. Use your words. You don't have to do that. So take your time, choose you, take your time to yourself when you need it, even when nobody else understands it. Take it when you need it. Utilize your village. Your village is a big thing that's going to help you. And again, whether that's in your marriage, your business, whatever, utilize your village. Lean on the people around you and pray. Pray.
Oh, yes. Pray, y'all. Pray.
Pray and read your word. Lean on
Yes.
God like never before, because sometimes you are going to feel lonely. You're going to feel like you're doing this thing by yourself all the time. Even with a lot of people around you, you're going to feel like you're doing this thing by yourself. Lean on God like never before. Tell God what you need. Closed mouths don't get fed. Tell God what you need. Tell him what you desire. Even the stuff that you're scared of, tell him that. Tell him that stuff. Because again, God can do exceedingly and abundantly above all you can ask or think. Ask or think.
Yes.
Because our minds can go some places. So remember that. So lean on God like never before. Be positive and keep yourself surrounded with positive things. Listen to positive things. Watch positive things. Just make sure that you every day, it takes a daily work. It's a daily work. Keep working on being better each day. And whatever you got wrong today, say, I'm gonna do better tomorrow.
Yes. That's it, y'all.
If you get it wrong again tomorrow, I'm gonna do the better tomorrow. Like just saying that to yourself.
Yep, because you got at the end of the day, you gotta show yourself grace through this process. You're not gonna get it overnight. Not gonna get it overnight. Not gonna get it overnight.
You're not. You're probably gonna do it again. And that's why I tell my clients all the time when they come to me, I say, hey, this is not gonna happen overnight. I'm just gonna let you know. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen overnight. It may not be this week, it may not even be next month or next year. It takes time. It depends on how far you gotta dig.
Yeah, because it's gonna take some digging. Because when you start to see the root of the thing, you be like, "Oh, that makes sense now."
Yeah, and now then you got to work your way back up.
Right.
Okay, now I got so now I got to work my way back. Lord, it's a journey.
It's a journey, y'all, but it's all worth it at the end. It's so worth it. And let me say this: it's like that village part is so. I would say, like in the times that we're in now, the village part is what we're missing. We don't fell off that a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. So it's like the village part is so important. Community. I think we've driven this in so many of the episodes that we've had so far. Community is so important. Having a right community, a trusted community, faith-filled community, all of that is so important to the process, and even down to the positive things that you do watch. So you got to be mindful even today the positive things that you watch too now, because it's like it can be positive, but what kind of positive is it?
What kind of positive is it?
Yeah, because we got the other side of things. We got the cultural positive that's out here. Okay. So y'all got to be mindful of what you're putting into yourself.
Yeah.
Do your research. A lot of this stuff, and it goes back to reading your word, because a lot of
Yeah.
this stuff, all this cultured stuff, is in the
Mhm.
Bible.
Yeah.
And God ain't for that. So I
Mhm.
need y'all to read your word, because
Read your
it's out
word
there. Start
and
back
raise
in the
your
Old
son.
Testament, because they was doing a lot of cultural stuff in the Old Testament. I'm learning that
Yeah.
right now. So get into your word, do your
Yeah.
research, dig deeper, look into those words,
Mhm.
even in the Bible, because
Yeah.
sometimes something that I have discovered as I've been getting more into my word, it's like what we see in English term of what the definition is of a word, it's not the same as it would be in Hebrew and Greek. So
Right.
you gotta take it deeper than that.
Yeah, you got to do your research. You got to study. And a lot of this stuff that we were taught and seen if you really study it, you'll find that though the stuff ain't really what it was and really what
Right.
we thought it was. So you really got to study your stuff and definitely open your eyes to some stuff and be ready to see it differently, because a lot of times we're not ready for that.
Yeah,
Be
that's
ready
true
to
too.
see it differently. Be okay with, oh, that's something that you used to believe, but now you're seeing for yourself that that's not what it is. So your life can change. So you
Yes.
can be different. So you can do it different and show your children and those behind you different.
Yes, that's so important. So, woo, this was a good episode, y'all. I loved it. It just keep getting better and better every time. So, Toya, go ahead. Do you have any things that are coming up soon that you're gonna fill the people in with, or let them know how they can stay connected with you, all that?
Well, one thing I have coming up in September 30th is Toya's Girls Jam. That is a women's empowerment conference that I have. And we all come together. We come in our pajamas. You know, some people don't come in their pajamas, but we're not gonna talk about people. But but yeah, so we come together in our pajamas so we could be relaxed, you know, and we so look, it's a slumber party vibe or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna give you God. Point
Yes.
blank period. You're gonna get
Period.
God, point blank period. But I just don't want it to be all stuffy, you know what I'm saying? So we'll have, you know, we have fun, we have music and food and all those type of things or whatever. This year's theme is the essence of God, because God charged me
Ooh.
with just giving the people him.
Yes.
All
Ooh, that.
saying, give them me and they will come, because we have to
Yes.
get back to the core of our relationship with God. We have strayed far away from that thing. So we need to get back to the core of our relationship with God and get to really know who he is. So
Yes.
you guys can go on to my social medias and everything, and it's on Eventbrite. You go on Eventbrite and find it. You can go on my social medias, Coach Toya K on Instagram, Toya's Girls Jam on Instagram, and on Facebook, LaToya Kight. And I also have a group called The Complete Woman, which is geared towards women, mostly mothers and wives, helping women get back to where they are and who they are without the titles and without the roles. I want them to get back to who they are and who they're supposed to be in life. So that I have that going on. So yeah, definitely check that out. I will hope to see you guys in the place. I think that's it. And if you want to see last year's Toya's Girl Jam, it's on my YouTube channel, the Complete Woman Podcast. It's on that channel, and Coach Shaniqua was a part of that event last year.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was great. So if you want to see that, you can go on my YouTube channel and check that out, and all my other podcast stuff. And I am on all podcast platforms.
Yes, we love it. Yeah, it was good, y'all. I was on the panel last year, so I'm
You
super excited for this year. I went to, I don't know if that was the
went to
first
the
one
first
or
one.
it
I
was the
think you might
second.
have went to the first and the second one. I
Yeah,
think you might have been to all of them.
I think I have. I'm seasoned, y'all. I'm seasoned.
I'm sure. I
But
think.
I will say they have evolved every time, and I know this is gonna be, I
Yeah.
know this is gonna be amazing. Like, you got some of my favorite people that's gonna be there. So I'm super excited to attend. Y'all make sure y'all get y'all ticket. I'll make sure to put the link below in the comments and everything, so that y'all can go ahead and purchase your ticket, because I'm all about supporting others that support me. And even if you don't, hey, it's all about community around here. So I just want to
Mhm.
put y'all on to the resources that we have so y'all can stay in the know. So Thank you so much, Coach Toya, for being here today, for giving us your wisdom and giving your enlightenment and giving us, hey, what God has placed on your heart and what you're doing. And I just pray that God continue to bless you exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask within. Okay? Amen. And good health too. So we thank
Yeah.
the Lord for you. So y'all make sure y'all check out this episode. Make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend. And until next time, as always, show yourself grace on this life journey. And this is a message from your girl, Coach Nikwa T. We out.